everyone. I am so excited today in the Shimmy Mob Spotlight series. I have here as a guest Barb Aubie from Moncton, New Brunswick in Canada. Welcome, Barb. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. How about you?
I am well, thank you. I'm excited to have you here in the series. It's the first time we're running this, so it's exciting. It's very exciting to get to meet the people that participate in Shimmy Mob face to face, even if it's not physically. At least we do it through online, thanks to the technology. So, yeah. So, Barb, you've been involved. Tell us, actually, before I even ask you that, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. I've seen from your application that you have quite the repertoire of experience. Oh my goodness. Seems like you have experience in a wide variety of belly dance styles. You have a studio, you're very successful. Tell us, how did you get into belly dance in the first place, and how did you get here? Tell us.
My story actually, it connects to why I do Shimmy Mob, and it connects to my whole work. So I was a university student for quite a long time in my younger years, over 20 years ago. And I have a friend, one of my best friends, and she went missing one day. And we were living in Montreal, and she went missing. And then when we found her, she had died of violence.
Oh,
so it completely changed my life. It shocks you when something like that happens close to you.
mm-hmm.
You know that it exists, but when something happens really close, it just changes your whole path.
Yes.
And I realized, as much as I loved university, I love learning. Learning for me is give me something new to learn, and I'm really happy. But I wasn't in a state where I could go back to university right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that I wanted to learn about my body because I had been in my head for all these years. And so I remember I was in British Columbia. I had traveled to BC.
Oh, you were here.
Yeah, I lived in BC for 2 years, and
Wow.
It was, I crossed the country actually 4 times in all. Zoom, 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 zoom.
Wow.
And so that time I was living in BC, and I took yoga, and I remember that I took a belly dance class. I was living in Nelson, and there was a woman, I would be in the clubs dancing, and she'd say, "I think that you would really like my belly dance classes." And I remember I went to one, but it was fairly vague, I guess. And when I came back to Moncton, one of my friends, she said, "Come with me to the belly dance class." And I did. And at the end of the 12 weeks, my teacher performed. And I remember watching her perform and thinking, I need to know how to do that. I need to move that way. And that was the beginning of taking classes. I never stopped. And my journey as a belly dancer just seems to have unfolded in an organic way, I guess, learning the styles and the people that would come to the Maritimes to teach, and traveling to Toronto and to Montreal and places like that to take extra training. I've always just wanted to grow into the art form. And one of the things that I did parallel to that when I started teaching is I started to take classes and training in body-mind centering modalities, so mindfulness and stuff like that. So I integrate presence and that awareness of the body and movement inside of my classes. And when I was ready, a couple of years later, I started to work at a nonprofit agency, and I started to work with women who had left abusive situations. And as time went by with that work, I've been able to marry a bit of the work, with the belly dancing and movement and mindfulness and presence and the healing that can come from that. I marry it with the work that I've done with women, just classes and programs that can help women after they've left abuse.
Mm-hmm. I find this totally fascinating, integrating the therapeutic side to the dance, because I had a dance studio for 10 years and I was teaching, and I saw that and it helped me too, because I had my own little story, but how do you, like in your experience, how do you find that mind-body connection and with belly dance? What do you think it is about that helps with the healing?
I think it's presence. Like if our power is in the now, right? So if we can, understanding that our past exists and we have goals for the future, that's part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But the dance and the movement and the presence, if we can come to the present moment, we have that choice in the present moment, whether, and if we're thinking about dance, whether it's that choice in the moment of choreography, how we're going to do that movement, or whether it's that moment of choice in improv, being there to the music and to our body and to our breath and how we're feeling. I think there's a lot of healing in that, because we're not stuck in that story that was in the past, and we're not worrying about what's going to happen in the next hour or two or in the next 10 years. I think there's a lot of healing in that, and being in the body that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to hear your experience and how you saw it, because for me personally, like my personal experience has been, you can't be depressed while you're dancing. You just can't, because like you said, you're focused on the music, you're focused on the movement, you're focused on whether you're learning the next move or whether you're improvising the next move or whatever the case is, right? You're so involved in that present moment just because all of that is happening. And just the fact that we're moving, motion is the one part, right? So I know a lot of people say, well, I can be present just with meditation. But to me, that's not enough. Like, you need that motion to go with it to help the healing part. I mean, not that doesn't work, right? It's just all of it, right? Yeah. So I see also that, like I said before, that you have quite the extensive background in the different styles that you've done, ATS, American cabaret, like Egyptian, like you name it, like Turkish, right? Like ATS, fusion. So do you teach all of those, or is just like...
My main focus is vintage Oriental, so American cabaret. That's my roots. I've come back to that in the past years. I have a lot of, and I in my classes, I do teach Egyptian styling. Mm-hmm. Past years, because I've come back to vintage, I've also been focusing a lot on Turkish, just trying to get a lot more of the Turkish roots in there. So I have a lot of Turkish classes right now. I like teaching choreography and stuff like that, but my main goal is with my students is improvisation, which is the root of especially like American cabaret or vintage Oriental style. Mm-hmm. So I like and yeah, with my classes, I guess, I have beginner, intermediate classes, choreography classes, technique, history. I just want to teach it all. I wish I could teach it all. Like, so
well, you actually can. We can talk about that.
I ask my students what they want, and that's how I build my schedule for the year. That's how I build. So I say, what do you want to learn this year? And then we'll go. So some years we focus a lot on Turkish, or like it kind of varies in that way.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting. And so just backtracking here a little bit, because you are involved with a nonprofit, and it's called the Support to Single Parent.
Yeah.
Right. So is it through them that you found, because you've been a team leader there in Moncton, a Shimmy Mob team leader, is it through them that you found out about Shimmy Mob? How did you find out about it? How did you get involved?
Well, I think that even the first year that Shimmy Mob, that you created it, that it happened, I think that I took note of it. Mm. And then I kind of spied you for a couple of years.
Oh, that's spy on.
I was doing because I thought, I want to do that because it's a good way to marry both those passions, right? Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to see how it would unfold. And then by the fifth year, I was like, okay, this is time. Like, I want to be a part of this. I think that the way that Shimmy Mob is run, I guess, or how it's organized, and like it felt like, this is a good thing, and I want to be part of it. And so I followed you for a while before I just...
Wow. Okay, so I'm curious now, because this this helps me understand a little better how everyone thinks. So when you first saw it, you had some doubts about it? Like, what were your doubts about joining right away?
Because I was working in the nonprofit in
Mm-hmm.
Moncton,
Mm-hmm.
that means that I was already connected with, our local shelter like Crossroads or their second stage program. I was already working with the victim services at the RCMP. I was already involved.
Mm-hmm.
I already sat on the board of directors for our local coalition against abuse in relationships. So I was, my face at those tables was with the agency, and everybody knew that I was also a belly dancer and I had my business.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to bring the belly, like if I wanted to marry it on that level, I just wanted to be certain that that the professionalism was there, that it was, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to be certain that when I was going to bring this to the community, that it wasn't in French pêle-mêle. It wasn't just like something that somebody threw together and that I would be like, oh my God, I need to run to make sure that this is good. So yeah, by the 5th year, I was sure that I was.
Well, I tell you, the first year was quite exciting because when I came up with the idea, it was not an original plan to do this every year.
Okay.
It was a one-time kind of thing. And then before the event even happened, people already telling me, can't wait for next year. Because they're so excited about it. And I'm like, next year? Really? And I tell you, when I talk about, like, I had a huge learning curve, I was not prepared for the number of people that signed up that first year. Because we had a team all the way down to, was it Taiwan? Vietnam? I can't remember. I think it was Vietnam. And it was just like insane. Totally unprepared, totally not set up for that kind of thing. So yes, it is a lot more organized now. There's still a long way to go, but
yeah,
I'm trying to improve every year, taking note of things that
I see that improvement every year. Like,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, I do. I see it.
Well, I'm glad you see it. So I know that there is on this end, but
yeah. And all the work is, for my part, just me. It's really appreciated. All the work that's done to have this event. I'm really proud that I have a team in Moncton now, and my ladies, they love it. Like they do great with it, and they just love it.
It's a fun thing to do. You learn and you dance, right? How can you go wrong? How can you go wrong, right? So, Barb, you also do events. You organize events, you have retreats, you have workshops, you host people, and just tell the viewers what you're up to. You got so much going on.
Okay. The big one that I'm excited about is in October, and I've invited Artemis Murat and Angela. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. They're going to be coming on the weekend of the 13th, 14th, and 15th of October to Moncton, and they're going to be doing a comparison of Turkish and Egyptian.
Oh, cool.
So Artemis is going to teach the Turkish, and Angela is going to teach the Egyptian, and then there's going to be history, and we're going to have lectures, and we're going to have movement, and there's going to be modern and folkloric. It's going to be wonderful. So
awesome.
I already have an event up on Facebook for that, so if anybody's interested in that.
What's the link for that? Or what's the name of the event?
It's I think it's Artemis and Angela. You
have a website. This information will be on your website. What's your website?
My website is www.studioshafira.com.
Shafira is SHEPHIRA?
No, it's SEPHIRA.
Okay, there you go. I will not spell. I'm a bad speller. So what we're going to do, that link is going to appear at the end of this video. So if people didn't catch that, you will catch it at the end. So those of you who are watching, make sure you catch the website so you can get more information on the event, on this particular workshop. But you also have retreats. Tell me about those retreats.
Yeah.
You were telling me about that a little bit before we started the recording. And I'm like, This sounds really intriguing. Like, tell us more. Tell us more.
So there's a week-long retreat this summer in August. That's going to be from the 18th to the 24th of August. And then I'm planning another one after Christmas. It'll be a weekend retreat. I'll get to that one in a minute. So the setting is magical. It's just outside of Moncton. It's about 20 minutes, a half hour outside of Moncton in a community called Memram Cook. And the location is called La Solitude. So translated, that means the solitude. Everybody who goes to the retreat gets a little cabin. Inside of the cabin, there's a cot, there's a wood stove. You have what you need to make very simple meals, and you have a writing table. There's washrooms, there's showers, food is included. And then we go and we have 4 or 5 workshops during the weekend together, where we dance and we talk and we do whatnot. And then in between the workshops, everybody spends the rest of the weekend in silence. So even if you see somebody, and there's trails, there's extensive trails, it's in the woods, it's along the Petitcodiac River here in New Brunswick. It's just beautiful. And I've hosted 3 of them so far, and the women love it. So coming together and dancing together, and then being able to go in solitude and be with yourself during the rest of the time in this beautiful place is just, I'm excited to be hosting these. So the first week long, I said, is this summer. I'm going to be putting out those details in the next week, I imagine. I'm just finalizing the final thing. I've invited a yoga teacher to come teach this retreat with me. So we're going to be doing restorative yoga alongside the belly dancing during the full week. So
wow, nice.
And then the one that's in February or March, we had a first one this year. It was really a success. So for women who are registered for Shimmy Mob, we went to La Solitude. We spent the weekend there and we worked on the choreography together. We had 4 sessions of 2 hours. Just we used the videos, we used the choreography notes, and we just danced and we learned the choreography together. So it gave us a really good base. And it gave us a chance to, some parts of the team to connect and to come together. And that's open to everybody. So if somebody in South Carolina wants to come to New Brunswick.
Or even Australia.
Even Australia.
If you want to come to New Zealand. Europe, right?
Yeah. So I'll, as soon as I set the dates, I'll put that out there. And I plan on doing another one this winter. And the one I had last winter, we're in the woods and there's snow and the weather was beautiful. It was sunny. It's magical. You can see deer tracks and deers.
It's a beautiful part of the country. I drove through, I used to live in Toronto years ago, and I drove from Toronto all the way to Newfoundland, believe it or not. So I did come through New Brunswick, and I do remember it is beautiful. It is beautiful. And it was in the winter with the snow.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. Beautiful countryside. For sure. So yes, it sounds magical. All you describing, even the silent part, that would just be so. And it's lovely that you're opening the doors to other people who want to participate in Shimmy Mob. We can have this opportunity to do a retreat at the same time as practicing the choreo together. And so for those of you who are watching who are interested in this, make sure you sign up early enough before the retreat so that you have access to the choreography and then you can go to the retreat.
Exactly.
And Barb, you're awesome.
Thank you.
You make me want to go now.
Come dance with us next winter when we do the retreat.
You know what? I want to go everywhere. I want to be everywhere with everyone. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but it sounds absolutely, you never know. You just never know where I'm going to be. So I always leave my doors open where I can, if I see an opportunity that I can go somewhere, I will go. I mean, I don't know if you know, last year I surprised Ohio's 5 cities in Ohio. I just showed up and danced with them. So on the day of. So there you go, right? You just never know. You never know. So anything else you want to share with us?
No, I just want to say thank you for doing this and for spotlighting some of us, because I'm really excited about just meeting some of the other leaders virtually. I think it's really, really great. And the thing is just to express my gratitude that this exists, because it gives me a way to marry my 2 passions, which is, the dancing and women's work. I think that but there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm just grateful. So I thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you for submitting the application. I know some people have been afraid to, but it's very simple. It's nothing scary, right?
No, no.
Yeah, so it's been really lovely to connect with you this way. I know we've connected through Facebook and all that. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. So thank you so much. And those of you who are watching, remember to check out the website and all the information of the events that Barbara is putting on. So super exciting. Thank you again, Barbara. We'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching the Shimmy Mob video spotlight series. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment below. And if you would like to be featured in the future, send us an email at shimmymob@gmail.com.